Alright guys, welcome back to another Dead by Daylight video. Now, I've been playing Dead by Daylight since the beginning of 2018 and not once have I ever done a ranking video on this channel before. The last time I did a ranking video on the channel was back in 2020 when the Death Slinger came out. That was the last time I did like sort of like a tier list video on the channel. But today, I am going to be ranking every killer I like to play as, from worst to best, not to play against, to play as. Now please keep in mind that this is all just my opinion, so please don't roast me too much in the comments below. And this video will be split into 5 categories. Most fun, the killers I enjoy the most playing as. Mostly fun, killers I enjoy playing as, but they're not up there as like my all-time favourite. Quite fun, killers I have a relatively decent time with, but again, just not particularly too exciting for me. Neutral, killers that I can have fun with, but overall just aren't my style. And don't enjoy much, killers that I just don't like playing because I feel bad playing them, or they're just not fun in my eyes. So, without further ado, let's get started with the killers that I don't enjoy playing that much. You all knew this was coming, but Skull Merchant is crowned as the worst killer for me to play as. I'm sorry to the 5 Scully mains out there that play her, but she was fundamentally flawed from the day she came out. I tried my best to like her, but she's unhealthy for this game. Getting a free injure that you weren't even there for doesn't feel right to me. You could make the argument that Legion is another case, because they get free injures too. But at least with Legion, you can, as Survivor, you can bait out the power and you can try and juke their power. But with Skull Merchant, you can't do anything like that. I mean, you can stand still and crouch near a drone or just disable it, but it doesn't matter because the Skull Merchant can just take away the drone and just put another one up. So, yeah, again, I tried my best to like her, but I just couldn't. She's just not for me, and every time I play her, I feel guilty playing her because I know nobody likes going against her. But I just don't like her. She's just not for me. Sorry to the Skull Merchant mains out there that like her, but she's not good. She's not healthy for this game. This killer is just the same aspect I have for the Skull Merchant. Whenever I play as the Knight, I feel bad. I do like the multitasking aspect of this killer, where you send a guard after one survivor and then you just chase another. That is interesting, but how many times are you going to be doing that in a game? Also, playing as Knight without the map of the realm and the dried horse meat add-ons feels bad. Like, this killer is in serious need of a buff just because of those 2 add-ons. Without those 2 add-ons, he just feels awful to play as. Other than that, he is very buggy. Like, I'll have aspects of guards getting stuck on the spot. I'll get stunned in my power as I'm setting up a guard for a trail. And I just don't like that about Knight. He's so buggy. And I feel bad playing as him because I know most of the community dislike this killer. And I am one of those people who dislike him. But he is better than Skull Merchant only by a tiny bit because of the multitasking. There's not much I can really say about Trickster, other than the fact that I still don't understand how this killer got approved by behavior. Like, all this killer does is throw knives at survivors, and that's it. His power ain't for me, and it feels lazy and a worse version of other ranged killers. Some of his add-ons make him fun to play, like the Ricochet add-on and the Shattering Blades add-on, but at the same time, I feel bad for running these add-ons. Just Trickster just feels like a lazy killer, and Honestly, I don't understand. Like I said, I don't understand how this killer made it to the game. Oh, and main event. The fact that they made main event easier to get just feels nice, but at the same time, again, I feel bad. I just feel bad for playing Trickster because he just does not feel right for this game. This killer has the same case with Trickster. There's not much I could say about Nurse. To me, this killer just doesn't feel like I'm playing the same game anymore. It feels nice when I play well with the Nurse, but at the same time, I don't feel like I'm playing Dead by Daylight. She ignores nearly everything that survivors can throw at her, and it just doesn't feel right with me, which is why I don't like playing her that much, because it feels like I'm cheating the system and not playing legitimate. I can have a tiny bit of fun with Nurse, but that never happens that much, and it is a rare moment for me. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. I gotta be honest, I enjoyed Freddy at the time when he could manually put survivors in the dream world and he was invisible to survivors when they weren't in the dream world. Don't ask why, I just did like him. I just did, okay. When he got his rework, I actually enjoyed playing as him so much, but as time went on, I started to enjoy this killer less, to the point where whenever I would play him, I would get frustrated because I would pull off a sick play and nothing would happen. To me, Freddy is a killer that has nothing going for him. Teleporting to generators is fun, but the cooldown for it is painstakingly bad, to the point where I really just dislike this killer's power. His fake pallets do nothing, and his snares offer so little. Just, Freddy, I used to like you, man, but you've just fell flat. Okay guys, I've gone over all the killers that I don't enjoy much. Now it's time for the killers that I feel neutral on. These are killers that I can have fun with, but there's something up with them that makes me not like them too much. You know, if I was rating Pyramid Head from when he first came out before behavior changed him, he would have been in the quite fun category. Unfortunately, whenever I play as him now, he feels really clunky to play as. Getting long hits with your power feels nice, but when you hold your power with Pyramid Head, you go the same speed as an old lady with a walking stick, and it doesn't feel right. It doesn't help that his add-ons are completely awful. The ranged add-ons for Punishment of the Damned are his only good add-ons, but aside from that, his add-ons are pathetic, and his power just feels very slow. Also, I do kind of feel bad whenever I do play Pyramid Head, because he's not very fun to play against, and he is a very good tunneler. Like, I always have like a voice in my head telling me to, oh yeah, go put this guy in a cage, and if you just go to wherever this guy is, he's never going to escape you. Like, he's got such very evil tactics, and they are fun to do. They are really fun to do whenever you pull off these evil tactics, but at the same time, you have to at least feel a bit remorseful playing as this killer. You know what I mean? You know, back in the old days when Blight first came out, I had a strong dislike for this killer, and there would have been a time where I put this killer in the third worst spot above Knight and Scully, like if I still felt the same way for Blight. But nowadays, he has grown on me just a tiny bit. Sometimes I can enjoy Blight whenever I manage to pull off the hook tech, but at the same time, I feel bad playing him. I don't like J flicking. I think it shouldn't be in the game, full stop. Like, I think should not be in the game at all. And his add-ons, while not as problematic as before, are still really strong. So while I do have some good moments with Blight, I just feel bad playing him because I know some people in this community just do not like going against Blight, me myself included. Playing as the Trapper can be fun. Setting up a web of traps and doing basement strategies feels really satisfying when pulling it off. But it often comes down to survivors making mistakes. If they do that, then the game is all yours. But if not, the Trapper is really miserable to play as. Not to mention that if survivors find you early, they'll harass you so you can't set up your traps, and it feels awful if that happens because you're not really playing Trapper, you're just playing a standard M1 killer with nothing. Kind of like Freddy Krueger. Trapper can be fun for me, but unfortunately his playstyle isn't for me because, again, it just comes down to survivors making mistakes. At least with some killers, if survivors don't make mistakes and you play good, it's possible to win. But with Trapper, I don't really get that feeling from him. Hag is a killer I've never been a fan of since playing this game. There is one type of playstyle on Hag that I really enjoy, and it's the body blocker Hag build. That playstyle to me is so funny, and that's the only type of Hag I like. Other than that, it's just the same as Trapper, where setting up a web of traps can be satisfying, but if survivors go out of their way to harass you and stop you from setting up, then there's nothing much that the Hag can do, in my opinion. At least. I sometimes do prefer Trapper over Hag, but the only reason I've put Hag above Trapper is literally just because of the body blocker playstyle. That playstyle for Hag is so funny and so fun to do that it's the only fun I get from playing Hag. There are two types of pinhead players. There are the ones that can get great shots with their chains and never miss, and there are the ones that go after the box whenever the chance they get. Picking up the box as much as I can is more interesting to me than hitting chains because whenever I hit an amazing trick shot on a survivor, all of the chains break on me in one most of the time, and it feels very unsatisfying when that happens. Picking up the box feels good because survivors are on more pressure, but I do also feel bad playing like that because he's not too fun to play against. His add-ons are very, very good in my opinion. The original Pain, I never run that. Don't run that add-on anymore. I would say never run, but I have ran it in the past, but I don't run it anymore. Impaling Wires, that add-on makes me like pinheads doing like the trick shots because when chains break, more chains will spawn, so survivors don't have room to run away. The two add-ons that increase the time it solves the box, those two add-ons are very, very nice, and I do like those add-ons. But other than that, those are like the only good add-ons that Pinhead has, right? Oh, Engineer's Fang, I don't run that add-on. That add-on's a piece of shit. Iridescent Lament Configuration, that's an alright add-on. But other than that, yeah, Pinhead, I don't mind playing as him. I do get some fun, but at the same time, when I do play him, and I'm just harassing the box as much as I can, I do feel bad because he's a solo queue destroyer. This killer is just a solo queue destroyer, and bad communication is just awful. Man, I really wanted to rank Twins and the next two killers after Twins higher. Twins are such a cool playstyle, and the last time I played them, I had a great time. I can't rate them higher though because they are filled with game-breaking bugs and it makes them unfun and unplayable. Which is a shame because their chapter deserved so much better. Like, Binding of Kin was such a good chapter, but it sucks. It just sucks that they're so, like, buggy and unplayable that I just feel bad for Twins, and I just can't rate them any higher. Twins at the moment are currently kill switched, so hopefully Behaviour will have something good for their rework in the next update. But man, as it stands now, I feel bad, I really do, because Twins are so cool, but I can't rate them higher because of the bugs they have and the fact that they're just unplayable with the amount of bugs they have. Man, Bobber is such a fun killer to play when you're using the Chili and the Chainsaw movement speed add-ons. Other than that, he's a bit of a lackluster killer to play as, and that makes me not enjoy him much. Again, if you run the Chili and movement speed add-ons, he's really fun, but without them, he's not that fun to play in my opinion. I wish I could rate him higher because I really do like him on this game, but without the add-ons, his power is just whatever. There's not much else I can say about him because his other add-ons are just bad. Like, sorry Bobber, I love you man, but without the add-ons, you're just nothing. This killer is so cool and creepy, and I like him a lot. I really want to rate him high, but I can't because of how hard it is to play Singularity and to pull off an amazing play with him. I've tried to learn him, but it feels like you need the mind of a hacker man to play him, with the amount of focus and concentration you need. Not to mention that sometimes the EMPs can screw you up big time when you plan something great. If you do manage to pull off something great, it can feel really rewarding, but to me, playing him is a nightmare. Also, in my opinion, the purple add-on Gabriel's Soma family photo, the one that gives you a speed boost after you slipstream to a survivor, that add-on should be base kit, because playing Singularity without that add-on feels like arse, in my opinion. But yeah, that add-on in my opinion should be base kit. Other than that, yeah, he's just a hard killer to play, and I wish I could rate him higher, but just the amount of thought and concentration you need to put into this killer is mind-blowing, and in my opinion, he's the hardest killer in the game to play as, more harder than Hillbilly. Again, just my opinion, and that might be a hot take, but yeah, I think Singularity is harder to play than Hillbilly. Okay guys, now that I've gone over the killers that I feel neutral about, it's time to rank the quite fun killers. These are the killers that I actually have fun with, but they're not up there with my all-time favorites. They're not really, my favorite killers, but whenever I do play them, I have a good time and I do have fun with them. Clown isn't very exciting to me, but I do have a fun to decent time with him. Being able to use his pink and yellow bottles at the same time is really fun to me. Clown, to me, is a better version of Freddy and Skull Merchant because he has a bit of skill to him instead of randomly getting something out of it, like Scully. I don't play Clown enough because I'm never like, oh yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing Clown. But whenever I do get in the mood to play him, he is quite fun. Also, at the time of me recording this, Clown recently got buffed and he can carry more bottles, which is very nice. I'm so glad that Behaviour decided to do that because he needed that desperately. Like, I couldn't play Clown without using the add-ons that gives him more bottles. But now he can carry, like, 6 bottles now? As opposed to 5, which is good. Perfect, that's all I needed. Thumbs up, W right there, Behaviour. Thank you so much. You know, guys, I thought of putting Alien higher, but two things stopped me from doing that. First, I know Xeno isn't that fun to play against, so I do feel a bit bad playing as it, but, you know, he's not the worst to play against, but he's definitely not the best. And the second reason I didn't put Xenomorph higher is because the flame turrets are unbalanced, in my opinion. They either do too much or they don't do anything at all. It's really hit or miss. Aside from those 2 points, Xenomorph is pretty good. He's pretty fun to play as. Not my favorite, but he's alright. I really like the tunnel system, and it's such a great way of traversing maps, and getting hit over short walls with the tail can feel nice, but again, it can feel a bit unfair, and his add-ons, oh man, Xeno's add-ons are awful. They either do so much or do nothing. So yeah, that's why I didn't want to put Xenomorph higher, because he either does too much or does too little, and it doesn't feel right to me. In my opinion, at least. I really like getting long-ranged hits with the Death Slinger. He's not my favourite ranged killer, but I do have a decent time playing him. He's not higher because sometimes the spear gun looks like it should hit a survivor, but it doesn't, and it really does frustrate me. Aside from that, I also like shooting and pulling survivors near windows and hitting them through the windows. But there's not much else I can really say about Slinger, and he's just not one of my favourite killers to play as. But whenever I do play as him, I have a fun to decent time with him. Oh, and his add-ons. His add-ons are pretty fun to use. I like using the tobacco and Bayshore cigar add-on, the one that decreases the stun duration. Those add-ons are actually really funny to use, because survivors just break the chain and you just quickly get back up on your feet. It's just, to me, it's just funny running those two add-ons together, and I like that. I like that a lot. Compare my feelings to Myers now to how I felt about him back in the day. He has really gone downhill for me. Back in the day, I really enjoyed playing Myers so much that I would have put him in the mostly fun category. But as time has gone on, I still enjoy playing Myers, but not as much as I did. I do have fun playing regular Myers and stalking survivors from afar just so I can get the jump on them. But Tombstone, Scratched Mirror, Vanity Mirror, they're just, in my opinion, they're not fun to play anymore. Because games are over so quickly, no matter which side is winning. Aside from those three add-ons, I do have a bit of fun with Myers, and I do like fast vaulting windows while in tier 3. Also, just a quick disclaimer, if I sound like I'm dead inside, it's because I'm currently ill. I am recording this like on a different day, so I am ill. So, yeah, hopefully he's, sorry about that. Demo is the cutest killer in this game and is really fun to play. It's a bit of a shame that on some maps with high elevation you can't do a long distance shred attack. Like on Garden of Joy, when you're on the top of the house and you try to do a long distance shred, you just get hit with an invisible wall. That shit's really annoying as Demo. But I do enjoy playing him nonetheless. He's not one of my favourites to play, but Demo is a chill killer to play as, in my opinion. I love listening to his little screeches and using his portals to traverse the map. There's nothing really bad I can say about Demo. He's just not one of my favourites, and I don't know why, but I still do like him. Using Bob's glasses, rat liver, black art, those add-ons, those are fun to use. I don't use any other add-ons because, well, they're kind of whatever, but those three add-ons are actually fun to use. Again, not one of my favourites, but Demo's a good killer. He's adorable. Man, this killer got the glow up that he deserved. If I was rating Hillbilly when he had his overheat mechanic, he'd still be in quite fun, but he'd be at the bottom of the quite fun category, maybe even at the top of the neutral category. But man, Hillbilly now is so fun to play as. He isn't ranked higher only because of a skill issue. I've not ranked him higher because I'm bad with him, really. It's just, I'm not good. I'm still trying to learn with this killer. Getting hits after curving and long-range snipes with the chainsaw is absolutely great, but pulling that off is hard to do. I don't care what anyone says, I still think it is hard to do that shit. He is one of the hardest killers to play as in this game. I'd say the second hardest killer, like I said earlier. Singularity is the hardest killer, but he still is a hard killer to play as. But I still have a good time with him. And the overdrive mechanic, man, the overdrive on him is so fucking nice, and his add-ons are great. I love using his turn add-ons, being able to go around corners with his the boot add-ons. Oh man, those are my favorite add-ons to use on Hillbilly, and they're so fucking fun to do. If you asked the old me how I felt about Huntress, I would have put her at the bottom of the neutral category, or at the top of the don't enjoy much category. But nowadays, Huntress has started to grow on me, and I actually kinda like her now. She's not ranked higher because I'm just not good with her, and I'm still trying to get used to her. Hitting cross maps and long range shots are really fun to do when I hit them, and I love doing the whole 50-50 mind game around pallets and windows, even though I do lose them a lot. I don't have anything bad to say about her aside from Iridescent Head, which I think should not be in this game. I think it should be deleted from the game, full stop. No one can convince me otherwise. She's just not my favorite because I'm bad with her, and she is very map dependent. Like, if you go to Toba Landing, oh, you're gonna have a horrible, horrible time. This is all just first impressions, so at some point this might change in the future, but this is what I feel about the Unknown at the moment. This killer is the scariest killer behavior I've came out with, and that makes it so cool. My favorite thing to do with this killer is to cut survivors off by teleporting with the hallucinations and scaring the shit out of them. His grenade power, the little UVX grenade launcher he's got, is fun to use, but it is a bit hard to use at the same time. Maybe at some point I'll get used to it, but currently at the moment it is a bit hard to use. Also, in my opinion, the brand add-on that the Unknown has, the blurry photo, the one that gives the Unknown his movement speed back quicker after a teleport, should be partially base kit for his power. Other than that, I really like this new killer. This is all just first impressions, and maybe I'll put in the description if my opinions have changed, if he's gone up or if he's gone down. I'll also do the same for Twins as well, when Twins get reworked, but as it stands right now, this is how I feel about the Unknown. Good job, behavior. This killer and this chapter in general is a massive W. You know, back in the days, Ghostface used to be my second main underneath my #1 killer, which I'll get into later on in the video. I loved leaning around corners and getting the jump on survivors when they least expect it, and I wish I could put him in the mostly fun or even the most fun category. The reason why I've put him here though is purely because of the reveal mechanic. Sometimes I'll be crouching behind a corner or a rock and I'll get revealed by a survivor so easily, and it doesn't feel nice when that happens, and it doesn't piss me off, it just frustrates me so much. It pretty much just comes down to whoever has the better ping, and if you've been in my streams, you'll know that my ping is like a roller coaster. Sometimes it'll be good, sometimes it'll be bad. Like sometimes it just makes its mind up when it wants to be good and when it wants to be bad, you know what I mean? I still have a decent time with Ghostface, and I still like leaning and jumping survivors. But the reveal mechanic is what bothers me the most about him. Even sometimes when I'm trying to lean, it won't come up with the prompt to lean around the corner, and I'll be like, "What the hell are you doing? I'm literally on the edge of this bloody wall. Why can't I lean?" You know what I mean? It bothers me so much about Ghostface, and I wish I could put him higher, but it just reveal mechanic and the leaning does sort of bother me. Okay, that is all of the killers that are in the quite fun category. Now it's time to get in the killers that are in the mostly fun category. These are killers that I really enjoy playing, and I have a great time playing them, but they're not up there with me favorites. I still love playing these killers, but they're not like my all-time favorites. Like, the killers I have put in the most fun are my top 5 killers that I like to play as. These killers, I like playing as them, but they're not up there with my favorites. Behavior really knocked it out of the park with this one. Wesker is one of the best designed killers in DBD ever, and I have a great time playing as him. He's not rated any higher because skill issue on my behalf. I'm still to this day trying to learn Wesker and all the cool tricks that you can do with him, but he is hard to play. Aside from being hard to play and me sucking with him, I still have a great time playing him because of how cool he is in this game. My favorite add-on to use for Wesker is obviously the egg add-on and the lion medallion, because I love throwing survivors into the abyss, never to be seen again. Wesker is such a fun killer to play, and for people that just don't like Wesker, I don't know what to tell you, really. Wesker is amazing. I am so glad that Behavior finally decided to buff Pig's ambush. Air chase power actually feels like it does something now, and I like that a lot. Pig used to be my second main killer until another killer took that position, and I'll get it to them a bit later in the video, don't worry, I will. But I still have a good time playing Pig. She isn't any higher because the bear traps RNG can feel bad sometimes. Like, I've had incidents where survivors get their trap off on the first try. It's not their fault really at all. It's just RNG, and I really dislike Pig's RNG. Aside from that, Pig is a fun killer to play, and I'm glad that she got buffed instead of nerfed. Oh, and I do offer snoot boopers, so if anyone is in my game, if I'm playing Pig and I'm playing against Jet and you want to boop the snoot, you're more than welcome to. Apart from people who don't like hearing vomit noises, or who have a phobia of vomit, I don't understand why people don't enjoy Plague. This might be a hot take, but I think Plague is a very underrated killer. Only issue I have with her is that she's a bit map dependent, because sometimes you'll have red fountains in a place that you just can't get to. Like on the swamp maps, you'll have a red fountain that's just in the corner and you're on the other side of the map and you just physically can't get to that place. It just sucks, really. That's the only thing that sucks about Plague. Well, one of the few things. I mean, I can't think of anything else off the top of my head, but it's just the first thing that came to mind. Other than that, Plague is a fun killer to play as. She counts as medkits and other healing perks, and getting fast shots with the red vomit is so fun to do. I love using the apple add-ons and the severed toe add-ons, so survivors get infected quicker while I'm preoccupied somewhere else. Plague is one of the best designed killers ever, and I think people underestimate her and need to play her more.
If you're watching this video right now and you're new to this game, I highly recommend playing Wraith. He barely has any bad maps aside from maps like Borgo and Blood Lodge. His add-ons are really good aside from the Blink add-ons that make you cloak faster. Wraith is overall a fun and chilled killer to play, and I have such a great time with him. I'm so glad that survivors can't burn him anymore while cloaked, because going against people with flashbangs as Wraith was miserable back in the day. The little buffs that Behaviour have been giving to Wraith has been great. I remember when Wraith used to be one of the weakest killers in this game. Now he's a strong to average killer, and I like that, and I also like the simplicity to Wraith. Seriously, if you're new to the game, give this killer a go. You will not regret it, I promise. Nemesis would be in the most fun category, if his add-ons weren't so bad. Apart from the add-on problem that Nemesis has, he is a really fun killer to play as, in my opinion. I love using the tentacle and shredding through pallets. Whenever I see or hear a zombie injuring or downing a survivor, I can't help but laugh when that happens. Even though it's most likely not gonna happen because of how inconsistent the zombies are on some maps. You know, some people fail to realise this, but the zombies can be used to track down survivors if you pay attention to what the zombies are doing. Again, I know the zombies aren't good, and his add-ons are crap, but his power is fun to use, and punching survivors is fucking funny. Ah yes, the Doctor. The one killer aside from Huntress that has grown on me big time. You know, Doctor used to be one of my most hated killers when I started playing Dead by Daylight. But after he got his rework, Doctor has become really fun to me and has grown on me very quickly. One thing I don't enjoy is when I use my power and find out that someone is running Comp Spirit, and that can be annoying, but hey, there's nothing really you can do about it, you're just gonna have to deal with it, right? Apart from that, I really enjoy Doctor's anti-loop with the shock therapy, and his anti-stealth with the static blast. I know Doc is a ping-dependent killer, but somehow, and don't ask me how, I've gotten used to it, really. I've just gotten used to the ping issues. Maybe it's just because when I live stream, it's just, you know, my ping is just all over the place, but I've gotten used to Doc's ping. And recently, I found out that Behaviour did slightly buff Doctor, because they made his shock therapy detonate quicker, like 0.2 seconds quicker, and it feels so good now. Like, I don't need to run the discipline add-ons anymore. Thank God. Oni is amazing. He's not ranked higher because sometimes getting that first hit can be tough. Once you do get that first hit though, things can go from 0 to 100 real fast. And once you get your power, it's full steam ahead. Oni, once you get your power, is an extremely chill killer to play. Zooming around maps like a buffed Speedy Gonzalez is extremely fun, and smacking survivors with the Cannabo is really fun. This might be a hot take, what I'm about to say here, but in my opinion, Oni is the perfect Dead by Daylight killer in terms of playing as and against him. Oni, it just is amazing for this game, and I think is the perfect DVD killer. I love Oni. Okay, I'm gonna straight up admit that this opinion is kind of biased because I love the Child's Play movies. Out of all 4 of DLC chapters we got this year, from Singularity to The Unknown, Chucky was my favourite, and I love playing as him. He's not ranked higher because of the Scamper. I try to not use the scamper that much because I know it's a bit unfair to go against. But if I have to use the scamper, then I will. Sorry, I just will. The first killer in this game to be played in third person is so cool and so unique, and being able to check spot survivors around corners is absolutely amazing. I love dashing around the map with his slice and dice power and getting hits on survivors, and listening to Brad Dourif's voice acting as he's cursing at the survivors. It's so funny, and I love Chucky so much. He's my favourite slasher villain ever. Alright guys, and after going through 30 killers in Dead by Daylight, it is now time to rank the most fun killers. These killers are my top 5 in Dead by Daylight, and they're my favourites to play as. If you've made it this far in the video and you're new around here, please leave a like and please consider subscribing. Also, leave a pineapple emoji in the comments below if you've made it this far in the video. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into the killers that I enjoy the most in Dead by Daylight. Remember, this is, again, all just my opinion. We all have different opinions, and I'm sorry if your favourite killers are ranked lower than these 5. I'm gonna say it right now, and I know I'll get hate for this. Artist is the most fun ranged killer in this game, in my opinion. Why? Because she's not as map dependent as other ranged killers. She has a couple bad maps like the swamp maps, but that's all I can really think of. If there's any other bad maps that Artist has, please let me know in the comments below. Getting long ranged hits with the crows after tagging someone is fun as hell. I know I said earlier Plague is underrated, but I think this killer is the most underrated killer in the entire game. More underrated than Plague, more underrated than any other killer. I don't understand why people don't play Artist that much, because she's really strong and she's really fun to play as. I know this killer is similar to Knight, but unlike Knight, Artist actually takes some skill to play, as when you're going for long range shots, and playing as Artist feels more satisfying than playing as Knight, in my opinion. This is the first time where I can say that I don't have a reasoning behind this killer. I genuinely don't know why I enjoy Legion so much. I like trying to go for the 5-man frenzy hit because to me it feels rewarding getting it, and running around maps with a knife vaulting pallets and fast vaulting windows is fun to me. This might be a hot take, but to me, Legion is the easiest killer in this game to pick up on. Playing them is even easier than Wraith in my opinion, and I like their simplicity a lot. Also, listening to their chase music is awesome. I'm a heavy metal fan, and Legion's chase music and menu music is an absolute banger. There are 2 things I don't like about Dredge. Number 1, he is a bit map dependent, and number 2, I do think Hattie's Calendar, that one add-on that makes Dredge come out of locked lockers faster, should be base kit for Nightfall. Aside from those 2 negatives, I love playing as the Dredge so much. His add-ons are so good, from brown to pink, every single one of them. Well, not every single one of them, but most of them are really fucking good. I love pulling people into lockers when they try to lock the locker, but I'm teleporting to the locker, and I just suck them into the locker, just instantly grab them. Jump scaring survivors when I exit a locker in Nightfall is funny to do as well, and building up Nightfall can be frustrating, but I've never found it to be that when I'm playing Dredge. This killer, just like Wesker, is so well designed, and I don't get why people don't play Dredge. Seriously, if you're thinking about DLCs to get, Give this killer a go if you haven't. He is really fun in my opinion. You know, I can't believe this either, guys, but say hello to my second favourite killer to play as, and my current second main killer in this game, Sadako, aka the Onryo. I have been enjoying her from the day she came out, and I've enjoyed every version that Sadako has had, from the underpowered version to the Nicolas Cage version when Nicolas Cage came out and she got buffed to high hell, to the current one we have now. Every single version she's had, I loved every single one of them. I really have. I love the fact that the devs made her unstunnable while demanifested. People have tried to stun me when I'm demanifested with either pallets or head on or any other ways of stunning me, and nothing will happen to me, and it makes me laugh every time that happens. I've never once tried doing the condemned strategies because I know it's not fun for people to go against, you know what I mean, for survivors to go against Onryos that do condemned strategies. I don't do those, but I love teleporting to TVs across maps. I don't focus too much on building up condemned for survivors, but I will pressure survivors a little bit with it. But man, I know you're gonna be like, how the hell is this killer at number 2? I'm just weird. I like this killer so much, from the aesthetics to her power. She's so fucking cool in this game, in my opinion. For those who have been on my channel before, you probably already knew this was coming. But for those who are new around here, yes, Spirit is my main killer in Dead by Daylight, and she is my favourite killer to play as out of any killer in this game. She has been my main since the day she came out, since she was busted, and I've endured every nerf that she's had. Why? Because I just fucking love playing as this killer. I don't even have many reasons, I just love her to bits. There's one thing that I do not like about Spirit at the moment, and it's her add-ons. Her brown and yellow add-ons are fine. They are completely fine, and I think they should just be left alone, period. But her green add-ons are bad, minus the Rusty Flute. That add-on, the Rusty Flute, the one that gives you recovery for your power, that one's actually pretty good. Her purple add-ons minus the dried cherry blossom are bad. Dried cherry blossom I don't think should be in this game. That add-on needs complete rework. And her pink add-ons, while mother-daughter ring is still good, the other pink add-on, the teacup add-on, is so laughably bad. That add-on needs a rework completely. Her power is extremely fun to use in my opinion. I love listening out for survivors and ambushing them, and I love doing mind games around pallets. She's the first killer in this game that I've prestige 100 because I enjoy Spirit so much, more than any other killer in this game. And man, I don't think I'll ever main any other killer aside from Spirit, because her power to me is the most fun in this game, in my opinion. Okay guys, that is going to wrap up the video of me ranking every killer in this game from worst to best in terms of how fun they are to play as, in my opinion. Now again guys, like I said at the beginning of this video and towards the middle of the video where I'm mentioning the most fun killers that I like to play as, this is all just my opinion, so please try and be civil in the comments below, because if, you know, any hate comments, they're just going to get removed. You know what I mean? I can't be bothered dealing with those types of comments. But I hope you all have enjoyed, and if you are new around here, please leave a like and consider subscribing. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the future. Have a good day, everyone.